The Rock continued the Cody Rhodes beatdown after Raw went off the air. We've got the real reason for a top AEW star's absence, and an AEW star has been offered a new contract amid WWE return rumors. Stay tuned for all the juicy deets. So we saw The Rock absolutely pummel Cody Rhodes into just a mess, a mush.
Cinema.
But of course, Raw went off the air. Things kind of uncertain what happened afterwards, but The Rock clearing things up here by uploading a video to social media in which it shows he just continued to go.
Just cracked on with it.
Carried on. Kept whipping Cody with the belt, would not let up producers trying to stop him. What goes on?
It's all right. He just keeps battering Cody, shouting at the producers who said, cut, they finished, clear.
We're done.
Shouting, what? Just because the show's over, that doesn't mean this beep stops. The Rock doesn't give a beep. Show is over, then it stops. Balls to that. Your script, balls to that. Slight editorial there on it. So we didn't know this has happened. This was filmed specifically for The Rock socials, I guess. But he posted this to Twitter, to Instagram last night with the following caption: "I hate constraints and bullcrap rules." And
he just likes bullcrap at the minute.
Yeah. And just because some WWE producer says clear, meaning we're no longer live on the air and the show is over, that doesn't mean I just stop whatever I'm doing and tell everyone, great job. It flipping pissed me off. I can't shut my emotions off just because a script says we're done. But this is a microcosm of a larger issue I have with individuals, corporations, and governments telling us what we can or can't do. You have to do it this way. You have to say it that way, or you'll get cancelled. They create fear if you have a different perspective and don't live by their rules. It's their way or no way. Flip that. I say it the way I want to say it. I do it the way I want to say it. My choice, our choice, final boss.
Vote Rocky Maivia for your Libertarian Party candidate in the 2024 election.
Great.
I mean, he's just on a tear, isn't he? I'm loving the leaning into this whole, all the reports we've seen. It's like Rock can do what he wants. And I think anybody's questioned the fact that, Rock can probably do what he wants. He's a massive star. But leaning into all of this and just letting it keep going, just turning it into a horrible person. Could you imagine if he got The Rock cancelled?
It's a little bit risky, isn't it, what he's doing? And that's why I really respect him for doing it, because, I think the lines there, he could play it safe and be there, but he's gone across, right? And he's been
say something, leave.
He's promoting the show like mad. He's saying things that might leave non-wrestling fans who are unfamiliar with The Rock and just know him from his movies a little bit perplexed.
Yeah,
because he's like, man, is The Rock a horrible guy? He's such a pro. And remember when he came back and everybody was like, oh, he's taking the attention away. We all said it, and it was fair to say at the time. He's turned it around, and now everybody's just talking about The Rock.
Yeah, and this is a hell of a lot better, as we said, than having The Rock come out, and it'd be great, come out, do a big moment like 32, quickly squash some people, celebrate, whatever, but like actually having him in and around this rather than just sort of him popping up at the end to beat Roman or whatever, it's just been awesome, hasn't it?
It has. It's been really good, and I don't think many of us were expecting it. It's a testament to what a pro The Rock is. To me, still, the tag team match, I'm not that fussed. I'd rather see Rock versus Cody singles night one.
Same.
Roman has taken a back seat, and this should all be about getting the belt off Roman, if that's going to happen, which fingers crossed and everything. But now it's all about The Rock. He has, I think, a little bit overshadowed everything, but I don't care because it's so entertaining.
And as long as it's used properly, it can be turned around and it can catapult somebody, right? So I
hope so.
Well, if not, Philly's going to have a really interesting Sunday night. But moving over to AEW now, we've got a star who's been absent, notably absent for quite some time. It's Jay White, who, at AEW Big Business, he defeated Darby Allin. Post-match, him and the Bullet Club Gold assaulted Allin, and then they split from the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. Bullet Club Gold then have been absent from AEW programming.
Yeah, they've done the pre-record stuff. Yeah, they've done the pre-record stuff, but they've not been there live in attendance.
Physical presence.
If you're a fan at those shows, you won't have seen them. It's nothing especially dramatic.
No, it's sort of, I think it's just a lot of people kind of like, oh, where are they at? But
visa.
Fight for Celeste. Yeah, they've reported it's a visa issue. Essentially, Jay White can't work Canada at the moment, and so that's all it's been, really.
Yeah, so they've been taking place in Ottawa, Toronto City, Quebec City. He'll be back at shows very, very shortly. They've still been a presence on TV, but obviously we've not seen them there live. Looking forward to having him back. Rough timing, actually, because the Derby match was brutal. Stopped him going up Everest.
That was
bastard.
oh god, yeah. I mean, he's got to offset that now to next year, and he's probably got to learn to walk again on a foot that was just. Did you see the X-ray?
Just a nutter.
It was like snapped in half.
He's not all there. He's not all there at all.
Keeping it with AEW, Matt Hardy had been offered a new AEW contract. He's been set to expire his current AEW contract at the end of March. That had been talked about by him beforehand, but there's been rumors circulating that he was potentially looking to rejoin with WWE, right?
Yeah, he popped up at Raw a few weeks ago, got everybody talking, knew exactly what he was doing. But it turns out, because he's been chatting away on his podcast, Extreme Life, that he's actually already been offered a multi-year AEW contract, saying there is a little news to go along with my contract negotiations. I have an AEW contract sitting in front of me for a few years, and I'm looking through it, deciding what I want to do going forward. Right now, I'm just going to be weighing out the options. There's a couple of things out there, and I would say in the next month, I should probably know what my immediate future is. So he's just said this, and maybe don't expect to see him on AEW TV for a bit if he's thinking about it for a month. He talked about what he wants from a contract and what he wants as a performer moving forward, saying, once again, just legacy is very important to me, knowing that there's only a couple of years left doing this. Schedule is very important to me. Also, because I want to spend as much time as I can with my family, that's very important. And once again, if I am working with Jeff, it's very important to me that the Hardys are optimized. It's very important that the Hardys, they go out on a strong note. That's what's important to me. They've been obviously they're not the performers that they once were. Choose my words carefully.
They're still the Hardy Boys, right? And so I think they're always going to command an audience. They're always going to command, they're very, very rabid fan base. And I think that ultimately, I would say, looking at this quote where it's like, looking at legacy and stuff, my brain immediately was like, well, it's got to be WWE, right? It's got to be. But when you look at like contracts and the amount of time he'd have to be working if he was back with WWE, I think it's just more beneficial for him to be in AEW. Plus, AEW have just proved that they can do legacy with Sting. Sting's retirement had no footage of his like WCW run. It was like, they were absent a lot of stuff that they maybe, in a perfect world would have had and would have been able to use, but they were still able to give Sting a hell of a send-off. And I think that ultimately, if AEW can do that for the Hardys, then I mean, it's probably they're going to probably have more creative freedom there than they would with WWE, right?
I think a lot of us expected that we were getting the Hardys' final run now, like leading up to this point, not a few more years. I think they've got to be used really sparingly.
This is it, because I think I don't know how much in-ring stuff you can really do, right?
No, and like I watched some of their matches now, and it's a little bit sad in some places because they're just older, right? And they've knackered their bodies.
Maybe if we lean back into the broken stuff, potentially there's more longevity there, right? So there's a lot of different ways it can be approached, but it
feels like that should be left in the past. Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think if this is going to be like the final contract, then we're probably going to see a greatest hits run. That tends to be what you see, right?
Yeah, through the eras might be really fun. I don't think you can rely on the broken universe.
Thing. I mean, through it.
It feels like it was of its time, and I think I don't know if the longevity's there. It felt like that was something that maybe had a short shelf life.
Yeah, it felt like it was coming to the end of that as it was kicking off in AEW, right, with the sort of drone and everything.
Well, WWE messed it up, didn't they? As well, they didn't do him any favors.
But looking over to this Impact Wrestling, which we touched on yesterday, is in a bit
TNA,
of a state of
please.
Sorry, yes,
Excuse
TNA.
me.
Oh, my brain.
No,
TNA,
I do all the time.
Looking over to TNA, which is in a state of flux right now following the situation with Scott D'Amore, there has been no word, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, on where Motor City Machine Guns are going. They're going to be two of the bigger notable free agents who are parting ways with the company. But PW Insider had reported that Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley's deals expire at the end of March, and the Observer could confirm that both were going to be free agents on the 1st of April. There's no word regarding the next destination or plans, but logic says WWE or AEW are the two biggest choices, obviously.
I think AEW is more likely, but what I would give for a WWE Motor City Machine Guns.
Could you imagine them in NXT? I know it sounds stupid to bring them in and put them in NXT, but like, could you imagine what they could do with like the younger talent? I think there'd be so many they
could revolutionize NXT's tag division. They really, because they're so good. I just want to see them do something together on the main roster.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
They're one of the best and most underrated tag teams of all time. Yeah. They are so unbelievable, and they can still go. Yeah. They can still seriously go. Obviously, they're not the same as they were 15 odd years ago, but they can still go. Just throw him in WWE's tag division. I would be so happy to see
even
them.
for just a little run. Even a little run would be great.
Yeah, same with AEW though.
Yeah.
They could do a whole lot in AEW for sure. I think Tony Khan would snap him up.
Tony Khan seems like I think AEW is going to be the landing spot, to be honest.
I reckon so as well.
But keeping it with TNA, and again, just regarding contract, Ace Austin has signed a new contract with TNA. His contract expired in February, and he's trying to see if he could get a better deal elsewhere. Worked some shows without a deal, and then he's went back and he's signed a new deal with TNA. So he's a name that's going to be sticking around.
Yeah, so he's they announced it. TNA announced it a couple of days ago that he had signed. But it's interesting to see that he explored options elsewhere. Ultimately sticking with TNA. He's a hell of a talent. Yeah. Don't know how long they've got him for exactly, but I think it's a multi-year deal, and he's awesome. He's awesome.
You got to expect they're going to be looking to get as many people as they can tied down to multi-year deals at this point.
It's going to be tricky, you know?
Yeah, I think it is as well. And I was really hoping we were going to see more fluidity between WWE and TNA, but now it feels like, was that a D'Amore thing?
Don't know.
Well, that's it for your second dose of lovely bumper weekend wrestling news. We may be back later if anything more breaks, but if not, keep it here with us. It's WrestleMania week. This is... So all the coverage in the world, everything's going to be happening here non-stop, round the clock. Keep it here with Cultaholic, and we'll catch you in a bit. Bye.